Good morning to all of you. Life does not always play fair. There will be moments when nothing goes the way you wished. People will let you down. Chances will slip away and failures will push you to the ground. In such moments, talent will not be enough. Luck will not be enough. Even motivation alone will not save you. Keeps you standing when everything else falls apart are your habits. Habits are the quiet strength that decide whether you give up or keep moving. If you build strong habits, you become unshakable. No matter how heavy life gets, those habits will guard your mind, drive your actions, and keep you steady until the storm passes. Consistency is stronger than motivation because motivation comes and goes. Anyone can feel inspired at the beginning when the vision is bright and the dream feels near. The truth is that excitement does not last forever. There will be mornings when you don't want to rise, days when you don't feel like putting in the effort, and nights when your thoughts tell you to stop. If you rely only on motivation, you will quit as soon as life becomes heavy. That is why consistency is the true foundation of strength. It is the habit of showing up every single day, no matter the situation, that creates lasting results and resilience. When life grows difficult, consistency is like a rope that keeps you safe. Imagine a storm in the sea. The waves are high, the winds are fierce, and everything feels unstable. Evasion in that storm is like a small boat being tossed by the water. It cannot last long. Consistency, however, is like an anchor. It holds you firm when life spins out of control. Every small step you repeat again and again becomes the chain that keeps you steady. You may not notice quick results, but over time, repeated actions give you the strength to outlast the storm. The mistake many people make is searching for fast results. They begin something new with energy. As soon as the path turns difficult or the progress slows, they stop. They believe they failed, when in truth they just did not stay long enough for the results to show. Success is not built on one sudden breakthrough. It is built on habits practiced quietly and repeatedly when nobody is watching. The greatest achievements in life are not the result of short bursts of effort, but of persistence carried out in silence. Think about building a strong body. Workout will not make you powerful. Even 10 workouts will not make you unshakable. But if you promise yourself to exercise daily, even when you feel tired, even when it rains, even when nobody cheers for you, then over months and years the results begin to appear. Your health, your strength, your energy all come from consistency. The same principle applies to business, to studies, to relationships, and to every other part of life. Motivation may begin the journey, but only consistency will carry it to the end. Consistency also creates trust in yourself. When you keep your own promises day after day, you prove that you can rely on your own word. That self-trust is priceless in difficult times. Many people break under pressure not because the problem is too big, but because deep down they don't trust themselves to handle it. They abandoned themselves too many times before, so when life tests them, they collapse. But if you have lived with steady habits, you carry proof of your own discipline. You remember all the days you kept going when it was uncomfortable. That memory strengthens you and tells you that you can push through once more. Another truth about consistency is that it builds momentum. At first, keeping a habit feels heavy. The resistance is strong, progress feels slow. But the more you repeat the action, the lighter it feels. Eventually, what was once hard becomes natural. Rising early, working with focus, staying disciplined. These transform from effort into identity. That is the hidden strength of consistency. It doesn't only change your actions, it changes who you are. When something becomes part of your identity, you no longer fight for it. It becomes automatic. And in the toughest times of life, that automatic discipline becomes your secret weapon. Some people wait for the perfect chance to act. They say they will start when they feel ready, when they feel motivated, or when conditions improve. The truth is that perfect moment never comes. Life will always be busy. There will always be obstacles, and you will never feel completely ready. The habit of consistency means you act even when the situation is not ideal. You show up even when you are tired, even when you are uncertain, even when the world seems against you. That discipline is what separates those who finish from those who give up. If you look closely at people who remain strong in hard times, you notice that they are not always the most talented or the most clever. Often they are simply the most consistent. They created routines that carried them one step at a time. When failure arrived, they did not collapse because their habits held them. When rejection came, they did not lose their way because their routines reminded them who they are. Consistency turned them into people who could not be broken easily. Consistency also teaches patience. In a world where everyone demands results instantly, patience is rare. But by practicing daily habits, you learn that growth takes time. You stop chasing quick fixes and start valuing long-term progress. This mindset is crucial in difficult seasons because real problems are rarely solved in a single night. They demand steady effort day after day until change comes. Patience combined with consistency gives you the endurance to keep walking even when the path seems endless. Of the most powerful qualities of consistency is that it multiplies. Just as money grows with compound interest, your efforts grow with repeated habits. Reading a single page a day may seem small, but in a year it becomes hundreds of pages. Saving a little each day may feel insignificant, but over time it builds wealth. Practicing a skill for only 15 minutes daily may look minor, but across months and years it creates mastery. This compounding effect means that the little actions you take consistently in tough times prepare you for future opportunities. What feels invisible today becomes undeniable tomorrow. Consistency also shields you from emotional ups and downs. Emotions rise and fall. Some days you feel hopeful, other days you feel low. If your actions depend on emotions, your results will be unstable. But if your actions rely on habits, then your progress stays steady no matter how you feel. Habits create stability in a shifting world. They give you something firm to hold when everything else feels uncertain. In the end, the strength to remain unbreakable in hard times does not come from motivation, luck, inspiration. It comes from what you do each day. It comes from the discipline to repeat small steps until they become part of your very identity. Consistency is not flashy. It is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It is the line between quitting and breaking through. If you want to stay strong when life gets hard, don't chase motivation. Unshakable habits. Stay consistent, and let those habits carry you through every storm until the sun rises again. Discipline builds inner strength because it forces you to do what is needed even when you don't feel like it. Life will not always hand you easy choices. Sometimes the only path forward is through pain, sacrifice, and unseen hard work. Motivation may spark the beginning. Discipline is what carries you when every part of you wants to stop. It is the quiet power that shapes your character and gives you control over yourself. Without discipline, you become a prisoner of your feelings, and feelings are the weakest foundation in hard times. With discipline, you gain the ability to command yourself, and that is where true strength begins. The real test of discipline comes when life is unfair. Anyone can stay cheerful when things go smoothly. Anyone can smile when the road is straight. But when obstacles rise, when people doubt you, when failure weighs heavy, discipline decides whether you stand tall or collapse. It is not about talent, not about intelligence, but about whether you can push yourself to keep doing what is right even when you don't want to. That ability builds inner armor. Discipline becomes the shield that guards you against fear, doubt, and laziness. Think of discipline as training the mind just like you train the body. Each time you choose the harder option, you strengthen your mental muscles. Rising early when you want to sleep in, working when you want to relax, controlling your words when you want to explode. These are small victories that add up. They build resilience. Just as lifting weights builds physical power, carrying out disciplined actions in everyday life builds inner power. When the storm comes, that power is your strongest weapon. People often think discipline means punishment or suffering, but in truth it is freedom. Without discipline, you are ruled by impulses, distractions, and moods. You eat what you shouldn't. You waste time where you shouldn't. You slip into the easy path. In the short term, it feels pleasant, but in the long term, it makes you weak. Discipline frees you from that trap. It lets you choose the harder path today, so tomorrow becomes smoother. That freedom is strength because you are no longer a victim of chance. You are the one in control. There will always be moments when quitting looks easier than continuing. Discipline is the voice that whispers, "Not today." It is the reminder that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. When you learn to listen to that voice and act upon it, you become someone who can endure what others cannot. That endurance is not about ignoring pain, but about accepting it as part of growth. Discipline teaches you that pain is not an enemy, but a teacher. Each sacrifice, each tough choice, each act of self-control is a lesson preparing you for the next challenge. Discipline also sharpens clarity. In rough times, emotions bring confusion. Fear tells you to hide, tells you to fight without thought. Doubt tells you to quit. But discipline cuts through the noise. It tells you to stick to the plan, focus on the process, and take the next step no matter the feeling. That clarity lets you keep moving even when you cannot see the whole road. You don't need to know how the story ends. You only need the discipline to keep walking forward one step at a time. Another truth about discipline is that it builds respect for yourself. Many people lose confidence not because others doubt them, but because they fail to keep their own promises. Each time you say you will do something and then fail, trust in yourself. Over time, that weakens you because you know deep inside that your words carry no weight. Discipline repairs this. When you live with discipline, your words match your actions. You follow through. You prove to yourself that you can be trusted. That self-respect becomes unshakable confidence. And confidence is one of the strongest protections in difficult times. The link between discipline and success is clear. Every success, big or small, is built on consistent discipline. Athletes train daily, even when their muscles ache. Entrepreneurs work without rest, even when profits are uncertain. Students study constantly, even when the subject is dull. Behind every story of success lies a foundation of discipline that nobody applauded. Discipline is rarely seen, but its results are always visible. When life turns hard, discipline stops you from making excuses. It pushes you to accept responsibility instead of blaming others. Excuses feel comforting for the moment, but they weaken you over time. Responsibility is heavy, but it strengthens you. Discipline trains you to carry that weight with pride. It whispers, "Do it anyway." When the world gives you every reason not to, the habit of acting without delay and without complaint is what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. There is also a deep peace that discipline brings. At first, it may feel limiting, like rules that steal freedom, but once you embrace it, you see the opposite. A disciplined life removes disorder. It gives you structure, order, and steadiness. Challenges arrive. You don't panic because you already have systems in place. You know how to act because you trained for this very moment. That peace is power because it lets you remain calm while others lose control. Discipline is also inspiring. When people watch your consistency, your control, and your steady effort, they are moved to do the same. Your discipline becomes an example that influences those around you. In hard times, this influence is powerful. Families, teams, and communities look for someone firm to follow. If you walk with discipline, you become that source of strength. You not only build resilience for yourself, also for everyone depending on you. In the end, discipline builds inner strength because it shapes you into someone who cannot be broken easily, prepares you for hardship before it comes. It gives you control over your actions, respect for yourself, and peace in the middle of chaos. Motivation will fade, conditions will change, and emotions will rise and fall, but discipline stays. It becomes the solid foundation that holds you strong when all else is uncertain. In the quiet of your daily choices, when nobody sees, you are building the strength that will carry you through any battle life sends your way. Adaptability creates resilience because life can never be fully predicted. Plans collapse, markets shift, people leave, and sudden problems appear without warning. No matter how carefully you prepare, surprises will come that test your patience and power. The people who survive and grow are not always the strongest or the smartest. Those who know how to adapt. When you practice flexibility, you gain the ability to bend without breaking. That is the heart of resilience. Adaptability means refusing to stay locked into one way of thinking. It is easy to cling to old routines, to repeat past methods, and to stay comfortable with what once worked. When situations shift, holding on to the past weakens you. Real strength is not forcing the world to meet your expectations. It is adjusting yourself to meet reality. You learn to pivot quickly. You waste less time resisting change and spend more time creating solutions. That attitude transforms problems into opportunities. Resilience grows when you stop treating change as an enemy. Many people fear change because it feels uncertain and uncomfortable. But the truth is, change is the only constant. Seasons move, opportunities evolve, and life keeps going forward. If you fight it, you drain yourself. If you accept it, you discover new ways to grow. Adaptability helps you meet change with curiosity instead of fear. It teaches you to ask, how can I use this? Instead of, is this happening to me? That small shift in thinking makes the difference between quitting and progressing. Another reason adaptability builds resilience is because it keeps your mind open. A rigid mindset breaks under stress, but an open mind searches for alternatives. In hard times, solutions are rarely clear. You may need to learn a new skill, change your plan, or take a new direction. Without adaptability, you stay stuck in patterns that no longer serve you. Adaptability, you become creative, resourceful, and willing to try again. Each adjustment strengthens your belief that you can handle whatever comes. Adaptability also lowers the fear of failure. When you are flexible, you know that failure is not the end, but part of the road. If one path fails, you try another. Plan collapses, you make a new one. This mindset builds resilience because you are no longer afraid of obstacles. You know you can recover, adjust, and continue forward. Every setback becomes training. Every challenge becomes practice. In the end, resilience is not about never falling. It is about rising again and again. Adaptability makes that possible. It helps you accept reality, adjust your actions, and keep moving. No matter what comes, life will never be free of trials. If you build adaptability as a habit, you will always find a way forward. That flexibility, when joined with discipline and consistency, makes you unbreakable in a world of uncertainty.